what the hell he thought the Constitution when he called me back this afternoon. He said he didn't know it'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. Picking at the scab is never gonna make it heal, and every broken bone will teach you how it's really gonna feel. But the sun is gonna rise again, the rooster's gonna crow. It'll be better, it'll be better, it'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better, it'll be better, it'll be better when it's better, I suppose. The sky is falling down and the creek is coming up. That old rickety bridge, Lord, is running out of luck. Nothing left to do but let the river overflow. It'll be better, it'll be better, it'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better, it'll be better, it'll be better when it's better, I suppose. Thanks for having me by.
Dvorak, and many thanks for your coming. It just occurred to me while Mark was singing that in rereading City on the Make a couple of months ago, I noticed that Algren had dedicated it to Joan Baez, who was very much a part of the American folk experience, as is Mark Dvorak. And Pete Seeger, of course, I got a letter from him once. I'd written to him as a kid, banjo picker, trying to learn to play the banjo. And he answered my letter, and it was about 1960, 61, something like that. It's kind of shocking to see that happen. An amazing man, and put a huge dent into American consciousness. Okay, the next guy up is an old pal of mine. His name is Robert Swan, and he's going to read some Algren material. Which is carefully rehearsed over the last 10 years.
You wanted Algren?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He thought he was going to be doing Debbie Does Dallas tonight, but we changed the venue on him. But he's done a lot of work locally and in Indiana, and has done a lot to preserve serious singing, and was a member of Music of the Baroque at one point, Tom Wickman's amazing group. And please make him welcome. I shan't go on with these.
Please don't.
I won't. I'm not getting into the having done time or any of that. So please make welcome Bob Swan.
Well, a few weeks ago, my friend Warren came up to me and handed me this book. And I hadn't seen it probably for 50 years, I don't know, but it's called Chicago City on the Make. And I said, pick some part of it that you like. And so I did. This is kind of I picked a few things from the last part of this that I think are pretty cool. I hope you think, I'm sure you'll feel the same way, because it's just great stuff. I've read for my wife, and she said, it sounds like Dylan Thomas. Except he's a Chicago guy, you know, so there we go. A man who gave his name as, quote, Nelson Algren, unquote, was arrested with two other men near midnight on January 12th in a Cadillac with a Missouri license. They were charged with possessing a quantity of what is believed to be marijuana. Maggie Daly, Chicago Evening American. The three men appeared in narcotics court January 13th. This Algren said he was self-employed. The case was continued till February 8th, so we will have to wait till February 8th to see if the Algrens match. Maggie Daly, Chicago Evening American. An uninvited woman guest at a North Shore cocktail party was interrupted by her hostess in the act of taking notes from her hostess's private diary. When interrupted, she gave her name as Bones Daly. We will have to wait to see whether the bones match. Dear Bonesy, it wasn't a caddy, it was a Ford. The man who gave his name as Algren claimed to be self-employed was Algren, who is self-employed. No one in the car was charged with, quote, possessing a quantity of what is believed to be marijuana. and the court's resolution of the case by dismissing 2 of the defendants in 2 minutes flat and charging the driver with crossing against a yellow light preceded your own conviction of all 3 defendants on dope charges by some 24 hours. Quote, quantity of marijuana, unquote. When the quantity consists of 1 stick, has addictive powers less than the 5 martinis followed by coffee with 2 double cognacs, which I once, with awe, watched you slurping out of a coffee saucer. The next time your malice impels you to match people, match someone you are capable of handling. Cordially, self-employed pusher. A newspaper should be something more than a mean dog that snaps at you in passing and keeps trotting on down the street. I once heard a fellow in a bar remark to the bartender. So I figured he must be out of work. No, I'm still working, the fellow claimed. Doing what? I inquired. I'm a columnist, he told me with a straight face. The idea of someone holding the notion that a newspaper should act differently than a mean dog who snaps and keeps trotting, earning a living as a columnist in Chicago, broke me out. The fellow was a regular card. We had a drink together, but he still didn't say what he did for a living. When I asked him his name, quick as a flash, he said, Roy Coe. Sure, I said, I'm Joe Doe. I told him, yeah, see you around, Roy. We're like most Chicagoans, I'll buy the local papers for the race results and throw the rest away. Who needs ads? And you know the news you get on TV. It was months later when I looked inside one and saw Roy's picture at the top of a column. I began reading, and I'd be dog, but he was saying the same things in the same tone as he'd been telling the bartender. A columnist can be critical in Chicago, so long as he preserves a reverential tone toward authority. But Roy was writing as if a district police chief who'd kicked all the hot dog wagon vendors off the street in his district was some sort of clown. And he talked about the fire chief Quinn taking the soft drink machines out of the fire houses as though Quinn were a clown disguised as a fire chief. Then he referred to the mayor as though that wise and solemn man were an owl disguised as a clown. It's easy to see how columnists like Norman Ross, John Justin Smith, Jack Mably, Tom Duggan, Sam Lesner, Paul Malloy are Cupson and stay employed. They sniff the wind. And the trouble with this is that the wind they keep sniffing isn't the same wind that blows off the streets of the city. It's a wind blowing off nowhere but the desk of some venerable vacuity like Emmett Deadman or some abject asininity like Lloyd Went. But how does Roy keep rolling? I think the do-gooders have been the greatest obstacle to progress here, one state congressman put in a complaint against Roy for disdaining an editorial plea to beef up the police dog division with more dogs for the Chicago Canine Training Center. Because they're always crying for everybody's liberties. That is why we don't get stronger legislation in favor of the police and the courts. But Roy simply won't buy it that the city's grandeur depends on more police dogs. His notion of a city's grandeur is completely out of line with that of both the Democratic and the Republican parties of Cook County. What makes a city great, these parties are confident, is a $70 million exhibition hall rising from the ashes of a $30 million exhibition hall. Or an airport in the lake to accommodate out-of-towners. Or any improvement of throughways, subways, opera houses, or construction in the loop which accommodates investors. But Roy keeps talking about nobodies who lose their jobs because they're nobodies, or get shot down because they're black nobodies. He is not only unconcerned about the image of the city as projected by the mayor's office, but he clouds it up. So how does he keep on the payroll? I've never heard it whispered darkly, but since I met him in the bar, and he is the natural son of the paper's owner and Edith Piaf. But as something along those lines would clear up the mystery, I feel justified in beginning to whisper darkly. Who knows, if my rumor gains momentum, I may get steady research from Virginia K. I think a city rising a mile high in the air, upon foundations a mile deep in the earth, may be less enduring than a town of ragged tents pitched on the open prairie. If the people in the tents know who they are, while the people a mile high are as far from themselves as they are from the ground. Could there be a city where a Picasso sculpture would matter less to the citizenry than that a girl with nappy hair can be busted with nobody to defend her? Could there be a city where no addict could be sent up upon the testimony of another addict? Where no cop can entrap a man, put 5 bullets into him as he lies on the sidewalk, and not have a jury return the verdict of not guilty by reason of self-defense? Wouldn't it be a great day in any city when a girl with nappy hair comes before the judge and his honor announces, "Let all girls with nappy hair make the street"? Or when the Indian who hit the street bleeding the night before hears his honor say, "Let the Indian go and buy him a new pair of shoes"? And wouldn't it be the greatest day of all when a left-handed girl who can't pitch very well comes off her beat on a rainy night and hears her daddy say, "It's all right, little baby, come in at the door." So long and goodbye. City of the red mesh hose and the shoulder bagging your hip. It's all right with me if you forget my name. You can't be expected to remember every trick. Only try to remember that I didn't pretend to love you for anything you were not. And I, in turn, will remember that once, long ago, you were the doll of the world. And I was proud to sleep in your tireless arms. Again that hour when taxis are dead-heading home, before the trolley buses start to run, and snow dreams in a lace of mist drift down and paving flares make shadows on old walls. When from asylum, barrack, cell, and cheap hotel, all those whose lives were lived by someone else who never had a choice, but went on what was left, return along long walks where thrusts of wintry grass, by force of love, have split the measured stone. I think hep people leave small ghosts behind for haunting of winter ballparks and locked bars, that phantoms of old-time hookers move between the flares, yet that no phantom follows where a square is gone. The proud new throughway of iron, steel, and stone courses without a stoplight state to state, above the rails of trolleys we once rode, iron that now lies twisted under stone, and saw those same flares burning each to each along old walks that led us always home. Tonight, when chimneys race against the cold, tricks out of times long gone, forgotten marks come seeking chances lost, and long missed scores. Faces once dear, now nameless and bereft, hep ghosts made of sleet or rain or both who cannot sleep, so softly try old doors, forever trying to get down the day's best bet. Tarts out of times long gone, Booth Broad, Blue Moon Cruiser, Conaroo, come once again, their palms outstretched, to claim what never became rightfully their own. Drifters of no trade, whose voices unremembered speak in the city wires overhead. Now is the victim's hour, where they go where winos used to drink themselves to death, or merely slept away their Mogan David woes. An unprotected night bulb casts reflected light held by an iron chain and held too tight along a hallway strangely like a street whereon we once walked and met a single peddler hawking a single tie. And there we stopped, and there I kissed your hair and breathed your breath. Above, the L moves on wheels that have no rails. Who could have then foretold that summer evening gone, the season turned to sleet that has no noon? That grass which broke the walk to green could turn beneath the lamps of morning to wintry white. Dream upon dream of the same cheap street appears. The seller waits, and yet no one buys. Only hep ghosts at this hour know how far beyond old walls and paving flares, beyond the place where old tie sellers wait, the night can go. Upon the just before day bus, I saw a woman, the only one who rode, look wanly out at streets she used to know, and bars she knew too well long ago. And there I went, she thought, And there I slept, and there I rose. Again, by evening in the billboard's ice blue glow, she came forever toward me, walking slow, saying, za 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 za, za 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 za, walking slow. All day to day, old dreams, like snow dreams drifting down, faces once known, now nameless in a mist, return from hospital, prison, and parole, mouths that once the mouth of summer sweetly pressed, saying, za 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 za, za 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 za, within a rain that lightly rains regret.